Welcome all on behalf of Saraswat International Academy. Myself Satish Makwana, subject English Grammar, Standard 6th English Medium, Chapter 1 Nouns, Part 1. So students, today we are going to start with a grammar chapter, that is chapter number 1, Nouns. Okay. So let's see the definition of a noun. Now I hope everyone is well aware of what is a noun. I guess you have learned in standard 3rd, 4th. Okay, so let's get more. We'll see the further classification of nouns and their types in this chapter. Now, noun definition. Nouns are words used to refer to objects, places, and living things. Some nouns also refer to feelings and emotions. So we all are aware of this definition. Nouns are nothing but words used to refer to objects, places, and living things. Now there are also some nouns which refer to emotions and feelings. Emotions and feelings such as jealousy, jealous, caring, loving, angry. Okay, so there are also nouns related to these emotions and feelings. Okay, now let's see the category, the different nouns. Nouns can be divided into several categories. They are proper and common nouns, countable and uncountable nouns, abstract and concrete nouns, and the last one is collective nouns. So there are 4 types of nouns: proper and common, countable and uncountable nouns, abstract and concrete nouns, collective nouns. Okay, so total we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 types of nouns. Now in that we have also the subdivision of these nouns. Okay, they are further divided into subcategory. Okay, so nouns is divided into 2 types: proper nouns, common nouns. Common nouns is further divided into 2 types. We have countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Then we have in countable nouns and uncountable nouns, we have 2 types: abstract nouns and concrete nouns. And concrete nouns is further classified into collective nouns. Okay, so now we'll see these nouns in detail. Okay, we'll see each of these categories in detail with their definition and examples. Okay, so let's check the first type of noun: proper nouns. Proper nouns are specific names of people, places, countries, cities, months, days of the week, etc. Remember, when you write them, the first letter is always capital. So what are proper nouns? The specific names of people, places, countries, cities, months, days of the week. These all comes under proper nouns. Okay, and whenever we write the first letter of the proper noun, that would be always in a capital letter. Okay, now let's see the examples. Now in that we have names of human beings, that is names of people: Raju, Reshma, John, Govind, Aisha. So these are all proper nouns. Now remember, you can see the first letter is always written in capital letter. Okay, now let's see the next example. We have names of countries: Pakistan, Malaysia, Germany, France, South Africa. Okay, so these are the names of the countries. Names of rivers: Krishna, Godavari, Ganga, Amazon, Danube. These are the names of the rivers. Names of mountains we have Himalayas, Sayadri, Nilgiri. Okay. Names of cities and villages we have Agra, Chennai, Kolkata, Mumbai, Rampur, Pangri. So these all are the proper nouns. Why? Because they have a specific names for of countries, rivers, cities, villages, people. Okay. And the most important point, the first letter would be always in capital letter. So the next noun is common nouns. Common nouns, the names of ordinary objects, places, things, etc. are called common nouns. They can be used to refer to any or all members of a class or kind of things. So common noun is nothing but a general name for ordinary objects, places, things. Okay, they are called common nouns. The name of a particular object, place or person will be a proper noun, but the word used to denote its class will be a common noun. So a particular object, place or person, the names for that particular object, place or person would be a proper noun, but the class, that is the class under which those object, place or person would come, that is denoted as a common noun. Now let's see the example. We'll see the example and we will have a clear idea about the common noun. Now the first example we have, Chennai is a proper noun, but city is a common noun. So what is Chennai? It's the name of a city. So that would be counted as a proper noun because it's the name of a proper city. Okay, and the term city is a general name, so that is called a common noun. Now let's check the second example. The name of a particular river like the Krishna is a proper noun. Why? It's a specific name of a river, Krishna, but the word river, it is counted as a general name. So the noun river is used for all rivers, and so it is a common noun. Now mountain, hill, stream, river, ocean are all common nouns. Okay, now these are the general term used. Okay, now the names under these mountains, hills, stream, rivers, oceans, that would be called as proper nouns. For example, we have Arabian Sea, we have Pacific Ocean. These are proper nouns. Okay, because it's the name of a specific ocean. Okay, I hope all of you all are understanding the concept proper noun and common noun. Now moving ahead, let's check the next noun, that is countable nouns. Now in countable nouns, the name itself we have an idea that it means count, which can be counted. Okay, so let's see the definition. Countable nouns, count nouns, which are counted or countable. Most nouns can be counted. They have both singular and plural forms. As the name suggests, nouns that can be counted are called countable nouns. I hope this one is a simple one, a clear one. The nouns which are able to count are called countable nouns, and we can have singular form as well as plural form in this noun. Things like eggs, cats, dolls, balls, etc. can be counted. So these are called countable nouns. Why? We are able to count these nouns. Let's see the examples. Here are some examples of countable nouns. Mac wants to read a book. Then next, GT bought some hats and scarves and packed a suitcase. Now we have a plural form, hats, scarves. Third one, Post says that the chairs in grandma's house are very comfortable. Again, we have a plural form of a noun, chairs. I got a bicycle for my last birthday. We have a singular form, bicycle. Post loves watching movies. Again, it's a counted. How many movies? So we can say 5 or 6 movies. So it's a countable nouns. Okay. Now the next type is uncountable nouns. As the name suggests, nouns that cannot be counted are called uncountable nouns. They mostly appear in their singular form: rice, wheat, milk, sugar, etc. So simple. The name itself, we can have a clear idea. Uncountable nouns means the nouns which cannot be counted, and these nouns appear mostly in their singular form: rice, wheat, milk, sugar, etc. Okay. Now moving ahead, let's check the abstract and concrete nouns. Countable and uncountable nouns can both be further divided into abstract and concrete nouns. Now let's check the first one, abstract nouns. Abstract nouns are words that name emotions, mental states or ideas. They do not refer to things that you can see or touch. So basically, abstract nouns deals with emotions, ideas and feelings. Okay, that they don't have a physical form. We cannot see it, and you can just feel it. Okay, so they do not refer to things that we are able to see or touch. It's just the feelings. We can just feel it. So those are categorized under as abstract nouns. Then the next one we have is concrete nouns. Now concrete nouns are names of material things that can be touched or seen. They usually refer to people, places, things, etc. So the things which have a physical form, which we can see or touch, those are called concrete nouns. Okay. So is it clear? Is it simple? I hope everyone is understanding. Now, moving ahead, countable abstract nouns cannot be seen or touched but can be counted. For example, promises, lies, ideas. Now, in this scenario, we can count how many ideas we have, how many promises we have. Okay, so that can be counted. And they have both singular and plural forms. Okay, I have one idea, I have two ideas. So we have a singular and plural form of both. Now, uncountable abstract nouns cannot be seen, touched or counted. For example, peace, warmth, pride, etc. They do not usually have plural forms. So uncountable abstract nouns, what we have is that we cannot be seen or touched. It can be just felt. Okay, and we have only singular form. We cannot say I have got lot of pieces in my mind. No, I have got peace in my mind. Okay, warmth, pride. Okay, so we only have singular form in the uncountable abstract nouns. Okay. Now, however, some abstract nouns can be both countable and uncountable depending on the context in which they are used. So, depending upon the circumstances, situation and context, some abstract nouns can be counted and uncountable both, and they also have both singular and plural forms as well. Now, the last one we have is collective nouns. Some nouns refer to a group of persons, animals, or things of the same kind. They are thought of as one unit, though they include several members of the group. They are said to be collective nouns. So a group of person, animals, or things, the name used to identify those group, that is called collective nouns. Okay. Now, for example, a herd of cattle. So herd is a collective noun. Why? Because it's not for we are not denoting or pointing out to individual cattle. We are directly pointing out to the group of cattle. So that is a herd of cattle. Similarly, we have a fleet of ships, a swarm of fleas, a bunch of flowers, a pride of lions. So here we are talking about the group. Okay, for example, we can have we can say students. It's a collective noun. Why? In students we have boys and girls both. Okay. So students, I hope you have understood the grammar part, chapter 1, nouns and the types of nouns. Okay. So I want you all to revise the chapter, read the definition and the examples. Okay. And in the next session we'll be doing the exercise which is given in the chapter. Okay. And plus we'll have some extra sentences and extra worksheet for the same. Thank you so much.